Hi, I'm McKenna Dowdle with the Lubbock Economic Development Alliance and Market Lubbock, and today I'm joined by President and CEO John Osborne and Chairman of the Board Cate. We will be discussing the past year within our organization and the overall growth that Lubbock is experiencing. So first, thank you both for being here today.
Thanks for having us.
We've had an incredible year with monumental announcements that will impact Lubbock for generations to come. And to start, I want to take it back to the beginning of the year. We kicked it off strong with the announcement of Leprino Foods, which was the single largest capital private investment in Lubbock's history. So John, we're a year out, we're a year later. Can you give us an update on the project?
This past year has been a really incredible year, and it all really got kicked off when Leprino Foods announced on October 1st that they were building a mozzarella cheese manufacturing plant over on the east side of Lubbock off of 19th Street and the East Loop. October 1 till June of 2022, they spent all this time actually engineering the building and getting things kind of prepped for the actual construction process to start. And then in the middle of June of this past summer, they then started the dirt work and the subsurface work where they're putting all the pipes in the ground and everything. That will then allow them to begin construction in January with the actual building. So right now everything is below surface, and then after Christmas you'll start to see an actual structure going up. And then it's still going to take them until the end of 2024 to actually be producing mozzarella cheese.
It's been incredible to see how monumental this project truly is, not only to our business community, but also to our local citizens as well.
I really have appreciated Leprino Foods' approach to this project. They're very environmentally sensitive. They want to be good neighbors where they're located, and they want to be good stewards of our resources long term. And they want to be an employer that people want to come and work for. And so one of the big aspects of this project is our precious resource of water. Obviously, they use a lot of water to make mozzarella cheese, but there's also water in cow's milk, and when they bring that cow's milk in, they separate the actual milk part from the water, use that to make the cheese, and now they've got excess water. They are going to then clean that to stream quality, put it in a pipe, and send it down to Lake 6, which is where Sup Lubbock is located over Dunbar Lake. And that will then bring more water to our community. And in fact, the amount of water being put into Dunbar Lake right there will support 60,000 more households in our community at the average rate that we use water on a daily basis here.
That's important because Lubbock is continuing to grow and we need those resources. So Brett, I want to talk to you more about our food manufacturing industry as well.
Mm-hmm.
We recently announced Tropical Foods. We have the resources in our area to attract these major companies. Can you talk a little bit more about our food manufacturing industry here?
You know what really is attractive to these companies that are coming from out of state and from looking at Lubbock as an opportunity is the workforce that we have here. Between Texas Tech University, Lubbock Christian University, and South Plains College, we generate a very attractive, highly educated workforce that they can tap into. In addition to that workforce, a large degree of the workforce that we generate comes from a rural agricultural background. And so in the food manufacturing process, there's already this understanding that they have of food manufacturing, at least from a farming and rural aspect. But then there's also the work ethic that goes along with that. The workforce that we generate here is highly efficient, eager to please, and eager to work, which cannot be said for a lot of the places that they look. At least that's what they tell us. So we, from a workforce generation standpoint, have a very highly attractive workforce that brings these companies to us, and they're eager to look at.
And I'd like to add on to that you know, we are seeing the world's population is going to be doubling between now and 2050. Texas's population is going to be doubling between now and 2050. And our own population here in our region is actually scheduled to grow significantly between now and 2050. And all of that puts an added emphasis on the importance that these local companies have and our new companies that are coming here that are producing food, because these people need to be fed, and we've got to have clothing for them, and being where there's a tremendous amount of food product and fiber from our cotton, that it just emphasizes the importance that these businesses are to the world, let alone to our own community. And so I think we continue to see growth in these food manufacturers because there is a need for it. We get a great workforce here, and the fact that the resources are close by.
I'm glad that you brought up our workforce. I want to talk about that a little later, but I want to focus on our local companies right now. We've seen tremendous growth from outside companies coming in, but we've also seen our local companies continue to grow and expand, like our WL Plastics announcement and True North Steel. So can you talk about why our local companies are seeing so much success here?
Well, I think Brett really touched upon it, is that the workforce really matters to these local companies. And once a new company moves to town and they really truly understand the opportunities that our workforce bring to that company, they see this as the place that they want to continue to invest in and grow. Our existing companies understand it. In fact, many of them survived the pandemic over the last few years because of the strategies and thoughts and the problems, the solutions to problems that our workforce brought to those companies to try to make things easier and to bridge that gap during that economic turmoil time. And so I think one reason we continue to see our local companies grow is because of the knowledge base that's here and the work ethic that's here. And obviously Lubbock is a fantastic place to live and be, and we see that things are just easier to get done here than they are in other places.
So we're seeing a lot of growth in our local companies, but we're also seeing a lot of growth downtown. So John, can you speak a little bit about that?
Yeah, there is. It's really exciting to see downtown. I've been involved in downtown revitalization throughout my career since college, and I've never seen a downtown turn around as fast as what we've seen over the last 5 or 6 years in Lubbock's downtown. But I've also not seen it be so comprehensive. It generally starts with one block where a couple building owners will invest in that block, and that then causes a ripple effect from that one block. But what we're seeing in downtown is just truly amazing. We're seeing catalytic projects, we're seeing housing, retail, new restaurants. Obviously, we've got South Plains College and them opening up. There's so many positive things that are taking place, new hotels in our downtown area. It's really exciting to see. I think it's really important for us as a community because of how it helps us retain our talent, how it helps us attract new talent to our community, let alone the fact that it just makes it for a fun place to live, work, and play.
Yeah, definitely. So Brett, it's been mentioned in the past that a vibrant downtown is important to the upcoming generation of the workforce. Can you speak a little bit more on the initiatives that LEDA and Market Lubbock are partnering in to attract that workforce, keep them in Lubbock, and also equip them?
I can. We talk a lot about the universities that exist in Lubbock, and whether it's South Plains College, Lubbock Christian University, or Texas Tech, and they certainly play a very large role. In the Innovation Center at Texas Tech and the business departments at Lubbock Christian and at Texas Tech are great partners for both LEDA as well as the businesses that come here and the businesses that already are here. But what we don't talk a lot about is some of the other aspects of what we do within Market Lubbock and LEDA. So one of the things that we do is we meet with the key business leaders in the community and find out what is missing and what sorts of skills and trades are needed and are going to be needed over the next few years. And then we work with them to put together programs to solve those needs. And we will go out in some cases and get grant money for that, or we'll find funding to help put training facilities in. And we start that really in the high schools. So we really can go and find funding that's available to put welding or nursing or some other skill in the high school that will provide a need or will fill a need for our community downstream. It's important for everybody to realize that although we've got great universities and colleges in this town, not everybody goes to a university or college. And we want to make sure that we have skills training, and we have availability for both the people that want to go to college as well as the people that may not want to go to college but want to stay in this community and have a lifelong relationship with Lubbock and make a good living for their family and raise their family here.
Yeah.
The career and technical education programs at all of our area high schools have grown significantly over the last 5-6 years. And then we saw South Plains College invest here a few years ago in the Avenue Q facility, which is their kind of training center where they do automotive training, where they train for welding and even for network computers and culinary. And so we've seen a lot of growth in students that are interested in that, either to help them kind of pay for college because they're going to do a side job, or because they don't have the financial capability or the desire to go to college and they want another path to have a good career. And so we're thankful that our workforce partners have put together these programs because there's a tremendous amount of need amongst our business community for those types of skills.
Yeah.
One final point on that is that we don't just work with Lubbock ISD. We also work with the surrounding communities and recognize that, many of the people that we are trying to retain come from the area and from the region at large, and we're trying to keep those people in the area and in the region at large. And as John said, either funnel them to our universities and then have an environment that they want to stay after the fact and continue to contribute.
And I've noticed a common trend of the future of Lubbock looks like the investments we're making today and right now. And so along that same vein of thought, I want to switch gears to talking about Interstate 27 and the designation that was received this past year. So John, can you talk to us about that and what the future looks like?
It's really, I don't think people realize how beneficial that designation and what that does for our future. But if you look at the history of our country, communities were founded along trade routes. And the transportation between those trade routes, as if they were easy, then you saw growth in those communities. And if they were not easy, you didn't see growth. And so, getting the United States' biggest trading partner, Mexico, connected with our community is fantastic. 90% of the trade that the United States does with Mexico is done through Texas. And the port of Laredo is actually the largest port, inland or on a coast, of anywhere in the United States. And so having that connected by interstate is really incredible. The truck traffic is required to stop by national laws every 8 hours to rest. And Lubbock is 8 hours from Laredo. And so that connection then brings an opportunity for more distribution to be here in our community. And that distribution enables manufacturing to operate easier and more retail to take place. And all of that brings jobs, which then allows our community to grow. This designation, in terms of the future of our community, enables it to grow even more than it would have without having that transportation route.
Yeah, and it's also been talked about with this designation that we've mentioned previously the impact that these programs that we are investing in will impact the communities around us as well, but even along the corridor with the designation. And so those communities will also be getting people stopping through and more attractions. And I think that with more attractions within Lubbock and more economic development just comes more people who want to come here and will become more of a destination as well.
Yes, people don't realize that Lubbock is the destination that it is, that there's a lot of people that come here to go visit our universities, to see about maybe attending our universities, to go visit companies in the oil patch, or to visit our local companies, to come in for conferences and for meetings and for sporting events. But we've seen significant growth over the last decade, from in the neighborhood of about 4.5 million visitors a year in roughly 2010 to, at the end of the decade, having 6.4 million visitors a year. And that growth of tourism has then brought about more economic opportunities for our citizens because there's more jobs to be had here. We get to enjoy more restaurants and more retail as a result of more shoppers being here. And so that creates a lot of economic wealth.
Definitely. And within this past year with the Lubbock Sports and Visit Lubbock entities, can you give us an update on what has happened for those?
Yeah, so if there's any industry that's been really, truly impacted by the pandemic and the downturn in the economy in 2020, it was our tourism industry. Our hotels were greatly affected, our restaurants were greatly affected, even our retail changed pretty significantly in that kind of short-term time period. But I've been really pleased that things rebounded much quicker than, especially in a lot of other cities, even in Texas, let alone other states. And we are now seeing record numbers in terms of visitors coming to our community and what they're willing to pay to stay at a hotel, the shopping that's going on. It's been really exciting to see the growth there. We're holding more sporting events. There's been meetings that have never considered us before that came, enjoyed it, and now they're coming back more and more.
Yeah. Brett, I want to talk to you about specifically our sports destination and why Lubbock is such a strong community for sporting events.
You know, I think it starts with the investments that we've made in our facilities, you know, whether it's Burl Huffman or the softball complexes and the various facilities we have around town for hosting are all in really good shape, and we've made some significant investments in those facilities. As John said, the pandemic had a big impact on sports and event hosting. The fact that Lubbock was still able to host those events throughout the pandemic when other states were not, caused a number of those events to come to Lubbock on what they thought might be a temporary basis, and has now turned into a permanent basis because of the welcoming community that we have and the overall environment that we were able to provide. So the community then is the kind of the second leg in that stool. The third thing that I think significantly is beginning to impact it is the fact that we've been able to make some inroads in some national organizations, and I'll speak a little bit about the USA Olympic program. A few years ago, we were able to host a Junior Olympic boxing, and we knocked it out of the park as a community in hosting that. They were very pleased, not only with the facilities, but with the welcoming community at large. And these are athletes that are coming in from all over the United States, some even from Hawaii and places like that. So they were so appreciative and enjoyed their time here so much that word has now apparently spread within the USA Olympic community, and we're starting to get a lot of interest from other events beyond boxing. In fact, we have several USA Junior Olympic events lined up in 2023 and 2024. So it's a number of different things, but those would be the highlights in my opinion.
Yeah, you've mentioned multiple times in the past that in the fall, when you have a fall football weekend with Texas Tech, I mean, there's 55,000 fans in the stadium, and our hotels generally sell out. We get so many people in the restaurants. And the growth that the tourism industry has experienced over the last 5 years has been significant enough that now we have events that are going on the same weekend as our football team is playing, and yet they're playing on baseball fields, or they're playing, or they're meeting in other spaces, or they're having a softball tournament or a basketball tournament. And so what we're seeing is that all that growth is bringing more economic wealth into our community.
So we've had an incredible discussion today, but I want to close by asking you both if there's anything you'd like to specifically mention as we wrap up 2022 and look to the future of 2023.
You know, for me, it's not just about looking at the next 12 months of 2023. I think we're going to see some exciting things take place then, but the types of projects that we work on really are multi-year and really truly impactful over a long period of time. And so, you know, with the success of this last year, we very much have been given a lot of new opportunities that we otherwise wouldn't have seen without the success of this last year. The projects that we're working on are, I mean, there's so many more projects today than what we've previously worked on, and the projects themselves are almost like on steroids. They're bigger and bigger than things that we've never seen before.
Of course, we can't talk about that today.
Well, yeah, sorry. Yeah, but that's for next year.
That's for next year. I'd like to talk a little bit about the staff that we have working on this. John's humble in that regard in not talking about how great of a team we've assembled. And whether it's our recruitment people that are trying to bring new companies in and going outside to conventions and bringing prospects in, our retention people, that are here working with our existing businesses, try to meet their needs, sports and Visit Lubbock, and the people that are bringing in other types of tourism, our marketing people. Every part of the organization right now internally is working very well together. Additionally, the group is working very well and with our outside partners. So whether that is the city elected officials, the city staff, the county, our educational community, or the universities, as well as the ISDs in the surrounding communities, the whole ecosystem right now is working in a very cohesive manner. It makes it easier for us to do what we do, and it provides a great environment for us to work within.
Yeah, exciting times to be in Lubbock and in our organization as well. So I want to thank you both.
Are you sure I can't just like one of the projects the next year? Like none?
Maybe in a month or so.
Okay.
Yeah. Well, thank you both. And thank you sincerely from all of us for your continued dedication and leadership to Lubbock and the time you spent making our city a better place.
Thanks for having us.
Thank you.
So for more information on this past year, check out our entire year in review piece at lubbockeda.org.